Hi guys, hello. So I just wanted to quickly jump on here today and address some comments and private messages that I received after uploading my 30-day no-buy challenge. I basically had a few concerns from people saying to me, how come your motto for your channel is buy less, wear more? However, you had to do a 30-day no-buy challenge. And I think this is a really valid question, and I kind of addressed it a little bit in the video, but I didn't go into detail because I didn't want to take up too much time. This is also a subject that I have wanted to talk to you guys about in more detail, but I just haven't had the time recently. So it's a good opportunity for me to just have this chit chat with you now. So just in case you're unaware, I'll just give you a brief lowdown of my story and how I started with sustainable and ethical fashion. I started on YouTube maybe about 4 years ago, and when I started, I was posting anything and everything. I then honed in on fashion and styling. At this time, I knew absolutely nothing about the conscious fashion space. I knew nothing about fast fashion. I was blissfully unaware of all of the terrible things going on in the fashion industry. Even though I had been working as a model for 10 plus years in the fashion industry, I still had no idea. So I was doing hauls, I was shopping like crazy all the time. I would buy from any brand. My favorite places were Zara and H&M, and that is where I was about 4 years ago. I then one day received this comment on one of my YouTube videos, and I had featured some Zara pieces, and someone wrote in the comment section, you shouldn't shop from Zara because they use sweatshops. And this was the first time I'd ever heard the term sweatshops. So I was like, okay, what are sweatshops? I went to Google and Googled sweatshops, and boom, huge rabbit hole, as you can imagine. That's where I started my journey with sustainable and ethical fashion. This was in 2020. We were in lockdowns in Melbourne, and that is when I dived deep into sustainable and ethical fashion. I ordered the True Cost documentary from the States. I had to get it on DVD because I couldn't even stream it here in Australia, which is wild. So I have that on DVD. I watched that, and then I literally changed my entire life from there. Even everything around the house, we started to bring in less plastic. We haven't bought paper towels or cling wrap in 4 years. We try not to buy single-use plastic. We do what we can around the house now. And I took Alex along this journey with me too, because now we're so much more conscious of the effects of all of these things on the world. So I went from being a really, really unconscious consumer to a more conscious consumer in the space of weeks and months once I was learning things. And I overhauled my whole channel as well. If you guys were with me back then, I made an announcement saying I am not going to participate in fast fashion anymore. I'm not going to be doing hauls. I'm going to be encouraging you guys to shop less and wear what you have, and I'm going to be taking you guys on this journey with me. So it was a massive change for me, and I must admit there's still things that I come across that I'm still learning now about the space. And yeah, basically that brings me back to my motto of buy less, wear more. When I started that motto, it was for me to encourage you guys to buy less and style what's already in your wardrobe. And it was also for me as well. I was working on myself so much, and I am still working on myself so much. So the concerns were that why, if that is my motto, why do I have to do a 30-day no-buy challenge, and why would 30 days be a challenge? And so the challenge that I did was specifically for secondhand clothes, because I do have a grip on buying new clothes now. I don't buy anything new unless it's been on my wish list for a while. I am curating my wardrobe more carefully now, so I don't just buy random new things here and there for no good reason. There is always a reason why I buy new things, and I'm really good with that now. But secondhand things, I seem to just kind of feel as though I can overconsume secondhand things still. And I definitely stopped for a while, but I just honestly just fell off the bandwagon with it. And I think it's quite a slippery slope with secondhand items too, because they're so cheap and because they're secondhand, and you think, well, this is the most sustainable thing, a secondhand item, but it's not really. The most sustainable thing is not actually buying that item in the first place. But this is just me being completely and openly as honest as I possibly can with you guys. And I wanted you to know that I made a mistake and I started over consuming in secondhand clothes. And I think I wanted to get this out in the open because I assume that a lot of you guys are also on this journey and are also making this same mistake and might need to be reminded. And if I share this with you, you're feelings will also be validated as well. 30 days as a challenge for me, it wasn't a massive challenge, but it was because I was only buying like 1 or 2 secondhand things a month, and it was easy enough for me to stop doing that. But it was still a necessary step that I needed to take to get off that hamster wheel of buying secondhand clothes and get back onto the track of being a more conscious consumer. So that is why I set myself the challenge, even though it was just 30 days. I know it's not long, but I still needed to just like take that necessary step, and I hope that makes sense. The next thing I just want to quickly say before we wrap this up, well, something that I have wanted to speak about on this channel, but I just haven't found the right video to talk about it in. That is the term progress over perfection. I never want to aim for perfection because I've tried to before. I've been in that place, and there is no such thing as being perfect, especially in the sustainable fashion space, because as a whole, fashion isn't sustainable. If you are bringing new things into your wardrobe, it's not sustainable really. If we want to be sustainable, we can go live in caves and not wear any clothes, or I don't know. The point is that we do not live in a completely sustainable world, but we can do better. And when I started the whole sustainable journey and I started doing more low waste things in my house as well, I noticed how much stress I was causing myself and how much pressure I was putting on myself to be perfect and to not bring in any waste into my house. And it was quite overwhelming and quite stressful, and I don't want to do that to myself again. So I remind myself every day, you have not brought in any new cleaning products in plastic bottles into your house for like 3 years. You haven't bought paper towels for about 4 years. You haven't bought cling wrap for 4 years. All of these things that I'm doing now are so much better than the person I was 4 or 5 years ago, before I knew nothing, before, when I was unconscious, when I had no idea about all of these things. Right now I'm doing so much better. I'm buying disposable nappies for my son, and I'm not gonna make myself feel bad about the nappies, because right now I can't be perfect. I have to do what is right for me and what I can take on and not put myself under so much stress right now in the stage of life that I'm in. So I am really proud of myself for the progress that I've made, and I'm not gonna try to be perfect, because there is no such thing as being perfect. And that is the same as fashion. For me, I don't want to not ever bring anything new into my home. I don't want to stop buying fashionable pieces, because fashion is something that I truly love, and it is a place where I can show my creativity. It is a way of me expressing myself. It is part of my life and part of my identity, and I love that. But I recognize that it is not a healthy, sustainable hobby to have, and I want to do better, and I will always strive to do better, but I don't want to be perfect. And that is just my view on things. That is the kind of message that I want to, and I've been trying to give to you guys. And also just the message that I've always wanted to put out on this channel is just honesty as well. Like, I've always wanted to be honest with you guys in every single video that I make, and that's kind of why I wanted to jump on here today, because the reason I did that 30-day no buy is because I was just trying to be honest with you guys about where I was and how I was going with my consumption habits and stuff. So that was my TED talk. I am out of breath. I hope that kind of makes sense, and I'm glad I just took the moment to jump on here and talk to you guys about it. If you have thoughts to add, please leave them in the comments below and we can talk more about this. But my regular video will be coming out on Monday, so make sure you stick around. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.